So in today's video, I wanted to discuss the difficulties you may face if you're a beginner or if you have not worked out in a while. And there are some things to consider and they're not always good and it leads to people falling back off. The reason I'm making this video as of right now is because, well, it's still fresh in my mind and I can relive the experiences as well as some things I faced in the past. So in my case, I have not been running for about a month, nor have I been lifting as consistently. And as soon as I got back into it, I realized the hard way of how difficult it can be. And not just, well, it's difficult, you have to push here and there, but also the nausea and the other things that can come up with it. And that reminded me the first time when I started working out. And I actually want to do a little story and discuss about that. And then how it relates here and how it can help you, or at least to help you keep going. So the very first time that I remember I started working out, and by that I mean using weights and things of that nature, was back in high school. When I used the school gym, so to say, the little dumbbell area, to start working out. That was really my first experience. So now when I was in the gym, of course, you're very eager to try out all the different exercises. You're very motivated, and some people can also relate to that. First time they want to work out, it feels all nice and stuff. Now, of course, I was thankfully smart enough not to go with the heaviest weight, just to, try things out of that nature until I got it. But I noticed after doing a few exercises here and there, it wasn't a weight where it's too much, so it's bearable. If I can move it decently with a few reps, it was all fine and dandy. But what I noticed then, all of a sudden, you kind of feel this nausea feeling. All of a sudden, you're lifting and then you just don't feel good at all. Like you ate something bad kind of feeling. You start seeing stars here and there. You would think, well, that's just the body. When you're not used to working out, that's what can happen. And I noticed this, the longer you do not work out, the more likely this happens. So once I felt dizzy, of course, you stopped, took a break, you had to sit down, and I couldn't really help it. What I had to do was just lay on the floor because I felt like I'm going to throw up. So I would just sit there probably for 5-10 minutes, just trying to breathe, work out. As soon as I stood back up, I was like, nope, gotta sit back down because I didn't feel good at all. Eventually, I walked back and forth, got some water, and I was fine, started lifting again, and then I felt not so good again. So that's an experience you might face to keep in mind, especially if you have no exercise experience. You might feel a little nausea, but here's where it gets good. It feels like, I shouldn't do it again. Well, waited a day, went back to the gym. Didn't feel so bad, but I also had some kind of experiences where you feel a little dizzy here and there because your body gets adjusted. Your muscles were aching the next day. It's like, especially if you never lifted or worked out and you get that first soreness, first time it feels like something is wrong. I couldn't bend my arms, like right here. I felt like someone cut them with a knife or something. It was really tight. And as I went through the next few days, it just got easier and easier and that feeling went away. I used to go to the gym. Well, I haven't been going to the gym much. But there was one at a college that I used to go to a gym before things closed, and the same thing again. I have the weights, I got everything ready, start working out, it's all fine, and then you get that sick, dizzy feeling. You get shaky in the legs. So what I'm saying with this, even if you had prior experience to lifting, if you have not worked out in a while, even if you're not doing anything dangerous, like using too much weights, doing exercises you're not ready for, still just the act of getting back into exercise is going to be difficult. And the reason it reminded me today, since I haven't been running in over a month, so I've been lacking it due to back pain, due to a lot of other things. Things just got carried away. When you come back, you get that same feeling where you're dizzy once you finish the run. So anyone who hasn't ran in a while, you're going to have that nausea feeling. It just comes with it. So another day, I'm going back at it again. Though I had back pain, had to slow it down. Eventually warmed up and finished the run for the day. And getting a lot more runs in the whole month and so on. I'm just trying to get back into being more active. Definitely more running and focusing on stretching, but that's for another video. Basically, not to waste too much words and keep talking about things. I'm just going to say again that first time you might work out, you might feel really not so well, and then that's a lot of people that quit. A lot of times when people run the first time, it's like it's the worst feeling ever. You get sweaty, you don't feel good, everything breaks, and you quit at that point. And then let me try it again. But you see, you took a break, between your first run versus going the next day. Maybe, take a break. Maybe the day afterwards if you're starting out. But over time, it might take a few weeks to a month. You're not going to feel as well, but each of those days will get better. Remember, the first day is usually always the worst. If you haven't lifted, you're going to feel sore. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel like quitting. But the secret, not a lot of people tell you, is if you can make it through that first day, just mentally prepare that that's what's going to happen. If you can get over your soreness, you actually get better. Next time you work out, you're not going to feel as though your body will adapt. You'll recover quicker, and you can move on. Of course, things in life take us out of it, back and forth, but when you have that mindset, you're kind of ready what to expect. It's a lot easier, so you wouldn't quit the next time you try it. Now, speaking of that, I did a very old video back in the day talking about how difficult it is when you first start working out, or why it's difficult to even start working out in the first place. Even though it's old, it did have a few good points, and if I can recollect or remember, to give you a brief thing, is basically your body likes to be consistent. So if you have a routine, let's say you sit around all day, that's what you like to do, your body is used to it. The body does not like change. It likes to stay consistent so it can have control. So once you start throwing stuff in here and there, you get anxiety, you get things, and your body naturally works against you to prevent you. So if you never run, you start running, your body is like, you need to stop doing this. It's too taxing. We're not used to it. And basically you're fighting yourself. But if you know what you're doing, you can override yourself in a way. Override your subconscious. You keep going, you're doing it every day. The body's like, well, look, this guy is not stopping. He's going every day, every day. We better either adapt or we're going to suffer. So the body's forced to adapt with your new lifestyle. But that takes time. So anytime you try something new, it's always going to be kind of like friction. Basically, it's going to work against you until you can get it, then move on. So a lot of times, that is the battle against yourself, where your own laziness, your own other things, they all work against you because you're doing something new, but it always gets easier. It initially tries to convince you the first step you do, that's how difficult it's always going to be, and you might as well stop. But once you keep going, that's how you override it. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So when you're prepared for that, it's a lot easier to move on and actually make progress. And like I said, working out sometime, you're going to feel sore, all that. It might take 2-3 weeks, almost like any habit. I believe it takes like 27, maybe 30 days. So let's say a month. If you want to develop a good habit or anything, it's the same thing. It takes time. It takes your body to adjust. It has to understand this is going to be the new normal. You lay down the rules. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this from now on. The body says, no, you're not. You're still going to keep repeating the same old stuff. So if you sit around all day eating junk food, that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be very tempting to go back to the old style because you're still kind of fighting yourself to adapt to a better lifestyle. Now you can do this a lot smoother by implementing. Maybe you take, let's say, French fries, for example, replace it with an apple or maybe something else. You slowly make little adjustments here and there to make it easier, but you keep going that direction. So basically, just see the bigger picture, guys. Remember, first time you do it, it's going to be difficult, but if you push through it, you can accomplish it. That's how I did it when I was 315 and I was trying to lose the weight. Because all these things, they're temporary. If you focus on taste too much, well, you ever notice if you eat a junk food or a snack that you like that isn't too healthy, once you eat it, the satisfaction is gone because how psychology works, or the brain is, we're motivated by anticipation of what's going to happen. So basically, to put forth, it's more fun the chase rather than getting the prize at the end. Because a lot of times you work towards something, once you get it, all of a sudden it's not satisfying anymore. We got the food, we enjoyed it. Once you finish eating, there's a lot of time you to regret it, or it's not even that worth it. It's almost like you're blinded. But if you already know that might happen, because you're mentally prepared yourself here, it's easier. And the same can apply to your training. So in conclusion, I really hope this at least opens your mind to think a little bit different. And if you're struggling, you're starting to work out, just know it does get better. Just got to keep going at it. It is possible and you can do it. I did it before and I didn't think it would work, but it did. So with that, I leave you. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Take care.